Hey, everybody. Karen Anderson here with Aortic Hope for our weekend review. I just totally forgot I didn't turn the volume off my phone, but now it is, and now I'm all yours. So, we are here for our weekend review. So, what that means is we're going to discuss the post that went up last week on our social media pages and give you an opportunity to kind of chat with me, tell me your thoughts, what have you. Just remember that when you chat here, this is public page, so people are going to see what you write. So, don't say Karen's a dork or anything like that. I mean, I don't really care if you did, but it's going to live out there forever. Also, any of the information I share, please use all this as just like, you know, information. Don't necessarily subscribe to it. Take it back to your physicians, have that conversation. And I can't wait till we start getting into how to have these conversations, how to ace your healthcare journey, because that's really key for what we're about in 2025. So before we get started, do me that favor, click the like button, click the subscribe button. Later, you're going to click that share button. But this way, you'll get notified every time we go live, and you don't have to remember, because remembering is a hard thing to do for some of us here. All right, let's get started. All right, so new year for Aortic Hope. What's that mean? We're into a new movement for movement. Okay, it's exciting, right? This actually moved. This poor dog was so cute. His little tag wailed. Was it tag wailed? No, his tail wagged. That was, that was good. That should go on the blooper reel. His tag wailed. That's what it was, his tag wailed. So every other Monday, starting in January, we have these posts that are supposed to inspire you, give you some motivational tips and tricks to kind of just get your body moving. It's so crucial for us as survivors, for just people in general to keep moving and not really give up. You just have to focus on you and set a goal that protects your health and uplifts your spirit. Because, when you move, supposed to make you feel really good mentally as well. So let's make intentional movement part of our daily lives for this new year. And these posts are coming to you from one of our brand new social media administrators, and that's Joyce. I'm pretty sure it's Karen Bo. I'm going to get it right before the next one in 2 weeks, I promise. And what she loves about this role in writing these posts for you is she herself, is a survivor in the community and has been looking for her own motivation to move. And she said to me, I really would love an opportunity to kind of write about this. It will help motivate me and hopefully others. And I was like, please, because I know I need motivation myself. I always seem to find excuses and reasons why I don't make it to the gym. They don't even know who I am. And they see me in the summer when I lay out and go to the pool, but otherwise, they're going to get to know me this year. I promise. Because my goal is this goal: commit to 20 minutes of daily movement. And that could be walking, stretching, light exercise. It's not really. It's not really about perfection, but it's more about consistency and celebrating your progress. So if 20 minutes is too much, you have to remember, nobody's saying you have to do 20 minutes in a row. You can break it down and do 10 minutes twice a day. Do two separate 10-minute moments of movement. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to jump into a Zumba class. But you can put on a timer and just get up and clean. Do your linen closet. Clean out your car. Whatever you do, if you're doing it for 10 minutes and you do it as something else a second time later in the day, that's movement. That's great. Clear this with your physician, of course, whatever it is you decide to do, but it would be so odd for anybody to say, no, you can't move. Don't move. Don't do anything. Walking and just moving your body is important. And I think we take for granted the simple stuff that we can do all day, any day. And we pretend that that's not movement. A lot of us think that movement has to be going to the gym. It has to be running. It has to be an elliptical. No, it doesn't. Movement can be anything you do. Just do it for a set period of time. It's work up to it if you have to, right? You could do 1 minute and do that 10 times and then take a break and do it. I guess you could do that 1 minute, 20 times in a day. It sounds like a lot. Probably better off doing 5 minutes, 4 times in a day. It's just like water consumption, right? Nobody wants you to actually drink like 108 ounces of water, whatever it is, half your body weight. That's not half my body weight, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. But nobody expects you to drink that and chug it. They want you to hit that goal over the course of the day. Same thing with movement. And why does it matter? Because movement keeps your heart and your body strong. It boosts your mental health and it reminds you of the strength that you've shown as a survivor. And so let's create this call to action. Let's kick the year off together, even though I know it started a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago. But comment on your social media platform, especially when these Movement for Movement Monday pages come up. Talk about what your first movement's been for 2025. What has your goal been? And put that hashtag movement for movement. And let's kind of cheer each other on. Let's see if we can get people going. When you're more advanced or intermediate, even, you should check out Aortic Athletes. That is a page full of survivors who really committed to working with their physicians to find a way to stay active and to do it in a healthy manner, considering their aortic disease. So, again, be sure to consult with your physician before you start any physical activity. I don't think you really need to ask them permission to clean out your linen closet, but sometimes for certain people, they need to know what their heart rate max should be, right? So you might want to look for that. And if you're wearing, I don't have it on today, but if you're wearing a watch, you might want to look into that and make sure that you're, not surpassing those numbers. That's between you and your physician. Talk to them and then hit that hashtag movement for movement and let us know how you're doing. Let us know what you're doing. So that's that Monday. That is that. Did anybody pop on already? I need a piece of paper so I can keep track of who's with us.
Yeah,
Who
let's go
there?
ahead and say hi to Tom and Molly and Ken and
Nice.
Velda. And it's,
Wow.
as they say, as Molly says, it's a big hello fest in here.
Oh, is everybody bleep, 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 tap, 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 tap? Yeah, that's good. That's great. I love knowing that. I love that. All right. So you guys chit chat away while I move on to Topic Tuesday. All right. First start. Last week we had Adam. He's no longer our fourth year med student. He is trying to get matched. So we should know very soon where his residency is going to be. And I'm so excited for him. I know all of us are. So he kicked us off this year with his Topic Tuesday post. And we're really going to start with something that I think is really interesting. So last year, it was accepted that the aorta is its own organ. I know that sounds weird, right? But I think that they made the decision to call the aorta an organ because there's so many different zones or parts of the aorta. And honestly, um, the degree in which you monitor, sometimes diagnosis, treatment can be different. And so, because in this one massive vessel, there's all these differences and variances, it was declared that it is its own organ now. So, as we know, the artery is the aorta is the major artery, right? That connects the major pumping chamber of the heart, which is the left ventricle, to the rest of the body. And because it encompasses such a large amount of our bodies, doctors need an objective way of really identifying different regions when they are characterizing disease in the aorta. This is where the zone classification comes in. So if you check out the link that's there below, you'll get more information. But this is the zones that everybody's been talking about. So I'm going to scroll through it and show it to you. So if we start off, here's your root. Okay. This is the root. This is the part that has your valve, boom, 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 right in there. This is where your heart would lie, in front of this, actually, because this goes up and behind the heart. So this is 0. This is the ascending aorta, and it stops right after the innominate artery. Mm. But that's one of the 3 branches off of what's the top of off the arch. Okay, so you have the innominate artery. Sounds good. Then you have zone 1, and that has a branch off of that to the left common carotid. And then you have zone 2, this little area that has its branch to the left subclavian artery. And then you have zone 3, and that's the first 2 centimeters distal to the uh, to the left subclavian artery, distal, so after. So that's zone 3 right there. I'm following along with this. Then you have your descending thoracic, because that's still in the upper area of the chest. You have your descending thoracic aorta. And zone 4, it begins at the end of 3 to the mid descending part of the aorta, right at the thoracic, the T6 line, that area of your spine. That's zone 4. And then zone 5 is considered the mid descending area of the aorta, and it takes you right above the celiac. and it's right there at the diaphragm area. That's zone 5, okay? Now you get into zone 6. And so zone 6, this whole area is really considered your abdominal artery. So you've got zone 6 is your celiac artery to the superior mesenteric artery. This area, if I'm not mistaken, and I am not a medical professional, but I'm trying to remember what I've heard other medical professionals say, that area is what is feeding, I believe, your abdominal organs, right? Because 7 is your SMA. Not sure I know what SMA is, and that is your that's an artery. Oh, that's your super mesenteric artery that feeds to the renal arteries. Okay, which are right below it in zone 8. That is where you're going to find your renal to infrarenal abdominal aorta. Your renal is taking care of your kidneys. Pretty short. Zone 9 is pretty big. That's your infrarenal abdominal aorta right there, zone 9. And then it splits. It splits right at 10, which is your common iliac. So you have one that goes down to the left part towards your left leg and one that splits into the right leg. So this is kind of probably right around the belly button, maybe a little bit lower than the belly button area. And then zone 11 is located on both sides like zone 10, and that's your external iliac artery. So you have internal and you have external, and these are all the zones. And what's crazy when you think about this is you don't necessarily diagnose each area the same. I know the abdominal is a lot of the times going to be ultrasound is going to be the easiest way uh, or one of the most effective ways of diagnosing if there's an issue. But treatment's going to be different in the abdominal than it is in the ascending. We know that. We know that the sizing is different. Once you hit a certain size centimeter, it's going to be different in the abdominal area than it is in the ascending. And that's before they do any surgical intervention because you have so much blood flow because this comes right out of the heart. And so this is a great tool if you have questions about your personal issues with your aorta. This is great to talk to your physician about. They'd love to talk to you about zones, and you'll learn a lot more from them than you're going to from me. But having this standardized classification system really makes it easy for doctors to easily identify the parts of the aorta that are diseased and might need surgical replacement. So the following are the high yield zones of the aorta. So let's talk about this again. So zone 0 starts at the aortic root, bum, 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 okay? And it travels up the first head vessel, the innominate artery. This artery supplies oxygen rich blood to the right side of your brain and your arm. This little bup, bup right there, right side of the brain and your arm, okay? Zone 1 travels from that innominate artery to the left common carotid artery, which supplies blood to the left side of your brain. Let's take a look again. There it is. Boop, 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 boop. One side, the other side. All right, here it is. Greater detail. Ascending, arch of the aorta, doot, doot. Subclavian arteries right here, common carotids right there, and brachiocephalic trunk right here. Zone 3 is where that transition into the descending aorta occurs. It's going to be right around here. Zone 6 through 8, which again, I'm going to take you back up. Zone 6 through 8, which is right under the diaphragm before you get to that lower abdominal area. Zone 6 through 8 contains the visceral branches of the aorta. So this means it has arteries and they come off to supply your organs in the abdominal. So 6, I was correct. The celiac artery supplies blood to your stomach, your liver, your spleen, your gallbladder, your small intestines, and your pancreas. That's a lot coming off of 6. Um, 7, which has the superior mesenteric artery, that supplies your small intestine and your large intestine. There's a lot of intestine. So I'm assuming that's why you need 2 arteries to help supply blood through it. I don't know, just guessing. 8, the renal arteries, that's going to supply your kidneys. Okay, here it is. Great detail coming down the way here. Here's your diaphragm, which we looked at above. So now we're into the 6, 7, 8 area. So look at all these arteries. This is so much. And in some of the pictures, we never get to see this much detail. There's a lot of arteries. I mean, you've got right and right suprarenal, right renal artery. There's an artery here that is supplying things to testicle and ovaries, testicles and ovaries. You've got your common iliac, your external iliac, your internal iliac, your femoral artery. There's just look at all these. There's so many, and if I start trying to pronounce them all, I'm going to make a mistake. Zone 10 is the area where the aorta separates. That's right up in here, 10, and then you have 11. So 10 is the two common iliac arteries, and they supply blood to your legs. It also supplies it to the groin and the pelvic area and the lower extremities, reproductive organs. So zone 10 is very important. And when that is compromised, when that, let's say, might have only a false lumen channeling blood, I'm going to only assume, I might not be correct, that that's when you start seeing people having fasciotomies and issues because they're not getting proper blood flow. All of these areas are very important. That's why they check the renal. That's why they're checking your kidney function to make sure you have proper blood supply. If you've dissected that low in your aorta, I mean, you have to think about it. There's so many different areas where you can have potential complications. It's incredible. Um, so this is a lot to take in, and that wrapped up this session from Adam. So it's great information. And I love the way that he explains it. He's going to be such a phenomenal, he's going to be such a great doctor. I can't wait to find out where he lands. So yeah, this is great information. Check it out. If you have questions on the back of the aortic dissection, the patient guide, and there will also be a section on the back of aortic disease, you can print off a page. It shows the aorta with no writing on it, just in a body. It's a diagram, and you can take that to your physician and just ask them, can you just draw out, just show what happened to me, show what's going on. If you are someone that's visual, just take it in. Let them use that diagram. They'll show you what's going on. Might really help you if you have a chance to visualize it. So that's your topic Tuesday. All right. What else is going on in chit chat land? Where's all my chit chatters, Josh?
We've got a new viewer with us, and I
Great.
don't know how to pronounce this. Mi-
Okay.
Miss Martellian, I think,
Martillion. Okay.
perhaps,
Hello.
or
Thanks for
MS,
joining.
unsure.
All right. Thanks so much for joining.
And
Okay.
Christina.
And Christina. Hello, Christina. All right. Good stuff. Let's move on to Therapeutic Thursday. The best way to get into the flow of writing is to put pen to paper. Let's talk about journaling, you guys. So I don't journal. And I don't journal, even though I know it's a great way to chill out and ease stress. I don't journal because I can't read my own handwriting. Because who writes? I have I have such bad handwriting now. And I want to be swirly. I want to be loopy. I want to be like all these people with the pretty handwriting that you see everywhere on everything. But I don't journal. I love typing. I probably could type out my thoughts, but then I'd have to go back and make sure there's no spelling errors. So I don't know. I haven't tried it or enough where I felt like it works for me. So those of you that are on with us, I'd love to know your thoughts about journaling while I read this. I'll probably catch up to your answers. But so there's a bunch of reasons why journaling is supposedly a really good way to ease stress. I mean, number one, it's a feelings outlet. That's that's obvious right there. I mean, it's your safe space. It's your place where you can put your thoughts down and help lighten your own emotional load and make yourself feel a bit better. I will tell you, the only bad thing I think about journaling is if all you do is write down negative thoughts. If you go back to read it, all you're doing is refueling negative thoughts. I see that there could be value in going back and saying, wow, look at what a dark place I was in, and I'm not there now. But I think it would behoove you to write the positive thoughts. So now you have a comparison. You can see how you've progressed emotionally. You can see where you're not in a dark place. Again, I think if all you do is use it as a place to go, blah, 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 that's all you're reading. Is blah, 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 right? If you have a place to go, do, 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 you see all the happy stuff. that's there. That's my that's what writing sounds like to me. All right, it's a good place for you can clear your head, right? You're putting your thoughts on paper. It might help you make sense of things. I mean, it's like untangling a mess of strings like Christmas lights. So it makes it easier to tackle whatever you're stressing out about, I suppose. It also helps you sort through stuff, get you to reflect on your day and your experiences and kind of just, I guess, process what's happening. And This is supposed to lead to better ways of handling tricky situations and kind of help you to stop overthinking, I suppose. I'm not one who does it. I guess journaling can also help you be more present, encourages you to kind of focus on the now, helping you kind of step away from the worries about the past or the future because you're only writing now. But I know me, I would write about the what ifs and the future. See, that's what journaling would trigger for me to write about, well, what could happen? What if this happens? Because I want to have it mapped out. And that's just going to stress me out. But it's supposed to help you ground yourself in the moment, which is always a good thing. And then, at least if you're journaling, you can kind of spot patterns of things that are going on with you emotionally. So it's a good way to notice if you have reoccurring thoughts or certain types of feelings. And it's helps you really recognize stress triggers. If you write it all down, you can kind of figure out how to handle it better next time. So the act of writing can be therapeutic. It can help you clear your mind and kind of build some emotional strength. So curious to know what you guys write if you journal. Me, not a journaler, but maybe it works for you. Does it work for anybody? Anybody say anything?
That's
They
interesting.
tr-
But before we move on to that, can
sure,
I get you to click Control Shift T? And that'll bring up that last article. And can you bring up the zones again for me?
sure.
Okay, and so Ken here says, I have remaining dissection from zones zero point 0.9 through 10,
Okay.
from
Yeah,
Inam to iliac. They replace the
sure.
AO root to the innominate, 0 to
Me too.
0.9. I
Me too.
have dissection into innominate and left renal,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, so I am into left iliac. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't had anything in the renal, and I had a little bit in the zone one. So I dissected into ascending and into zero. And I guess I must have into zone one in order to get up a little bit into the carotid. So it's a
Mm.
slight dissection in the carotid. But yeah, that ascending takes a hit. And that's where they put your graft. And then they traditionally leave the rest of it dissected and monitor.
Mm-hmm. Scroll down just a little bit, a little bit.
Sure.
Oh, that's too far. Right. So that 9 section. So that's right where his is. And so
Yeah.
you said so right in there. Oh
Yeah. So I
man. And
dissected right
so
into here.
it was just a couple weeks ago when we had the doctor that showed the illustrations of what the tears look like and how they push
Yeah.
through. Yeah. And so I wonder
Yeah.
if we're going to start to see these drawings with the zones already laid out and, something a little bit more illustrative going forward.
Probably. I would
Yeah.
think we would. I mean, we did not do that in the book because we didn't want to make it so overwhelming for people. We thought let the surgeon create their own zones and if they want to explain it that way, which I'm sure they will. But I think that the zones, I would think it would help people really visualize better than trying to understand where
Mm-hmm.
all the extra arteries are. I mean, when you see that other picture of all the spider
Mm-hmm.
webs of
Mm.
arteries, it's like overwhelming. There's a
Yeah.
lot there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Molly says, love this diagram. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
I agree.
Cool,
I
right?
agree.
Yeah.
Also, Molly
It's
says
cool.
she doesn't care for journaling.
Oh, yes. No, no journaling.
uh, Miss Martelian says Storyworth is an interesting site for your own storytelling. And so I'm curious to know
Oh,
more about that. Okay. It's one
storyworth.com,
word.
I'm assuming.
It's one word.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
I'm
know.
going to look into that. I will definitely check that out. Uh, Very good. Thanks for sharing. Hmm. Okay. I love learning something new. Always open to that.
Oh,
All right.
Ken says very good diagram.
I will let him know. Okay. All right. We're moving on to Feel Good Friday. This one's hard, but we're going to talk about some things. So, from last week as we stepped into that Friday after holiday season, post holiday season, whether you enjoyed it or overwhelmed or were sick through the whole thing. Really is always the perfect time to kind of check in with people. And, the holidays can be a very lonesome, stressful, sad, exciting, overjoyed, overstimulated, whirlwind time for people. Might even create some burnout. So now that all the festivities are over, it's really a good time to kind of reflect on yourself. How did you come out of it? How are you really feeling? For me, I was exhausted. I got sick. And it's so much I don't understand, like, gosh, when you're Jewish and you don't really decorate like all of that and you just have a menorah to worry about and argue about 8 candles, well, 9 candles, so much easier. I watch my husband, he does the tree and then he got the fake snow out in the villages, and everywhere I look, there's another tchotchke of something from Christmas past, stockings, and it's like it's so much. I get tired watching him set it all up, but he loves it. And I am not a person who I always wanted to be that person that decorated for the seasons, like so when it's spring, I want the house to look spring and then have leprechauns and pots of gold and rainbows and Easter eggs. It's never happened. I pooped out. I can't even get to the porch. So Christmas is big and he did it and it made me tired. It's like watching a toddler run around. After about 10 minutes, I'm tired. I'm tired and not looking for grandkids just yet. I don't have the energy. So I was tired. This holiday season made me tired. Just saying. But did you know that the American Psychological Association actually defines happiness as an emotion of joy, gladness, satisfaction, and well being? So, what does it mean to be happy? Have you ever actually thought, what does it mean, like, to be happy? And how can you achieve happiness? I would hope that coming out of our 31 days of hope and joy that people might be able to answer this question a little bit easier, but sometimes I think that's a hard question to answer, right? Because happiness is really subjective and it varies from person to person. And some people find happiness in really simple things, which I do too, like well, we were just talking before I came on the show about my bags that I bought to ship the seatbelts in. I I bought a really great bag to ship it in, and I'm so excited because it came and I sized it right, and I can't wait to start stuffing them and sending them out to people. Happiness, joy, happy. Kit Kat bar. I bought one. Happiness. I feel happiness. I'm going to feel really happy when I eat it. Probably not so much later, but I don't care. In the moment, I'm going to feel a sugar rush of happiness. So yeah, it's the simple things. Um, could just be watching a movie. I look forward to certain days of the week when my next show drops and I hop on the sofa, popcorn, and that's happiness. That's one way of happiness. Going to the spa, pulling up in the parking lot. I'm already happy. I haven't even walked in. And when they give me the robe and the slippers and I smell the smell, oh, very happy. It's, it's been the most expensive nap of like the month, but I'm happy. But some other people need a more complex, challenging goal to achieve. Like it could be climbing a mountain, it could be solving a puzzle, could be doing a 2,000 piece jigsaw puzzle, which I would just never, I would, no, it would be kindling from my fireplace. Sorry. So don't anybody ever send me a puzzle. Um, but there's really no universal formula when you want to talk about happiness because there's some general tips that can help you find your own path to joy, but it again is so very subjective. But here's some of the ways that you can find joy, and we were talking about finding joy after what could have been a stressful holiday season. So when you're looking to figure out how can I just find some gratefulness, right, in this moment? How can I be grateful or joyful? Because we only talk about it for the 1 month, but if just looking for it anytime, try to be grateful for what you have and don't compare yourself to others. And I always say this, I never know what somebody else is going through in their life. You should never assume what people have or don't have or what makes them happy. This isn't a competition. Just get yourself in your bubble and be grateful for what you have. If you ever wanted a moment to think about that, take a look what's going in California. Take a look at what goes on around the world at any given moment in time. Put yourself in your bubble and feel that sense of gratefulness, right? Surround yourself with positive and supportive people who make you laugh and make you just feel good. Anything else other than that is sucking life force from you. It really is. You want deposits into that emotional bank account. You don't want to make so many withdrawals that you're overdrawn. Do something if you can every day, something that you enjoy. Could be anything. I like putting on my lotions on my feet because they're very dry in the winter sometimes. That brings me joy. It really does. It makes me happy when they look pretty. I do something like that for myself every day. It could be doing a hobby. We have Aortic artists coming up Wednesday night. I love painting, so she's going to teach us brush strokes. That's going to make me happy. That's something that's a hobby. It could be a sport. All those football games, you guys, all happening. Watching that may or may not make you happy. Depends on the outcome. Um, do something else that's creative. Give back to the community, whatever it is. If it makes you happy, do it. Learn something new and challenge yourself to grow and improve at it. Because when you achieve the goal, you're going to be happy. Help others contribute to a cause that you care about. That also makes people very happy. And be sure to take care of your physical and mental needs. Eat well, sleep enough, manage your stress. All of that we know will aid towards happiness. But also try to be optimistic and focus on the brighter sides of life, right? Nobody has to say, have a great day. Nobody's ever going to say, well, I'm really having a crappy day. They may just say, I'm having a day. So, whatever you're feeling today doesn't mean that you're not grateful, doesn't mean you're not happy. It could just be today's just a day. There's always tomorrow. I just saw Annie. So, yes, the sun will come up tomorrow. It's been in my head on repeat for 4 days. But it's true. Sun will come up tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar. All right, happiness, not a destination. It is a journey. This is not a marathon sometimes. I mean, it's not a sprint, it is a marathon. And it's not something that you can achieve once and for all. It's something you have to cultivate sometimes, finding your happiness, recognizing that you're happy, nurture it every day. Happiness, it's it's also not a matter of luck, but a matter sometimes of choice. It really is. Sometimes people can choose. Trust me, I'm not going to tell you I had a very bad start to my day, and I could have taken the path of self-pity, pissiness, irritability, but I took a neutral stance because I certainly wasn't ready to go hop into happy, happy, joy, joy. And I just did the hate today, and it is what it is. Things can always be worse. That's sometimes the best way to get out of your own funk is think, you know what, this was not ideal. It's not how I planned my day to start off today, but it can always be worse. So you suck it up, buttercup. That's what some of those emotions, emotional moments cause for me. I just gotta suck it up. So we were doing an emotional chart check-in. I'm not sure if you can see this. There are different emojis letting people know, are you really great? Are you pretty good? Are you okay? Are you starting to struggle? Are you having a hard time or do you need support? And that was really interesting to see people's responses. So, you know, now is as good a time as ever to see if people have any emotions on their mind they want to chit chat about? I started off the day having a hard time, and I think I'm okay, I guess. There you go. It's my feeling.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So
Anything?
Christina says, no journaling
Yeah.
for me either.
No,
I know, right?
I don't have time for that.
And I guess so. Christina, somebody shared something about a play-by-play of the Allen Thick dissection.
Mm,
So that article, Molly wanted to again point a little bit of eyes toward that.
yeah.
And our new viewer is Marty Ellen.
Hi,
Marty
Marty Allen.
says, illustrating the zones would be helpful for the physicians to communicate with us. I've had a root
Yeah.
aneurysm and aortic valve replacement and now have a residual aneurysm.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
would be helpful. There'll be space in the new book to do that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so
Yep.
Marty says, simple things help, but I have many menorahs to light.
I got to go buy a new menorah. Yeah. So you want to talk about like mental, emotional tie-in. First of all, I had a menorah. I don't know where it went. I got it from my family. It's someplace in my basement, packed away. I'm sure I'll find it one day. But then I bought one on a Saturday, November 13th, 2021. Went to a crafts festival, wasn't feeling well. Bought one. I was with my parents, my husband. Bought it from a friend's father who made it, carved it out of wood. Um, it's somebody that I went to camp with when I was much younger, and then had dinner with my parents that night. And then my father passed 2 days later, suddenly and unexpectedly. So you would think I would like want to use this menorah, and I cannot stomach to use it. So I've not lit candles. I know I'm so bad. I don't want to do it. Mm-mm. So I think I have to just buy a new one, and it's fine. Or really hunt through the boxes and find the one that I got from my family that does make me feel happy. It's just weird the way we assign emotions to things. I have to decide, do I want to just unpack that and just make that be over with and use it because it's a really nice menorah? But I really feel like I should just clean that energy out and get something else. Just too much of a struggle. All right, we're moving on. Saturday. great time to remind you guys about our Saturday Survivor Series. And so when it's called Survivor Series, I get it. It is really open for anyone in this community. So anybody, you could be a survivor, patient. They're two different things, really, because some people, they have their surgeries and then that's it. They don't really look at themselves as an ongoing patient, right? That's different. Some people just found out that they have an aneurysm. They are a patient. They have not had surgery or really any intervention yet. So they are ongoing in their journey. You could be a caregiver and you could have lost someone, that's very near and dear to you to aortic disease. All stories valid and important for the community to know about. So, certain Saturdays during the month, we have this series, and we would love for you to be that shining star in someone's life by sharing your story of survival or caring for, or someone with aortic disease, or just your experiences around it. What we're looking for sometimes is people their symptoms. Everybody wants to know, what am I going to feel? Am I going to feel this ungodly ripping and tearing? And that's not necessarily true. We like to know the symptoms, and we really want to know about what your experience was, if you remember, in the ER, because some of these stories are going to be shared with Think Aorta US. Think Aorta US is a pre-active organization that's their goal is to educate first responders, primary care physicians, EMTs about the importance of thinking about the aorta when you're faced with a patient that has undiagnosed chest pain or uncomfortability or something off, right? Ask the questions about their medical history. Um, do the diagnostic testing, like simply checking pulse between limbs because they're going to be off. EKGs may not show anything. Troponin most certainly won't show anything if it's just a dissection. So what we want to get to is that CT. That's what we're trying to get to as rapidly as possible. And having those pieces of the puzzle on the ready will help them do that. And some people still get sent home. Some people get sent back out into the waiting room. And those are as equally as important as the success stories. We have to know about where there was a breakdown in the system and continue to share these stories with the physicians. And we also, of course, want to share with them the success stories because that's the model that they want to hopefully follow. So if you're interested, there's 3 different ways that you can do this. You can submit it in writing. Please know that all forms of the Survivor Series are going to be shown at some point in some way, shape, or form on our YouTube channel. They're also going to be displayed on our Facebook page, links to Instagram, possibly on LinkedIn, Twitter. I mean, these can go anywhere, and then people can share them, right, on their own personal pages. So you want to think about that. It's very important. You can leave in as much information or take out whatever you want. It's your story. You share it your way. But if it's going to be in written form, the only thing we're going to work on is your spelling. That's all. Just so people understand. I'm not going to change content or the flow or whatever. I might break up a paragraph, but we're not editors. This is your story. This is how you want to present it. The other option is that you can do it in pre-recorded form. And the third would be, which is the most engaging, is to do it live, like I'm doing it right here. And then you can take questions from the community about your experience. Because what you're going to find is not only does this have the potential to be very therapeutic for you, but it's so validating for us. Listening to it, you hear things and you're like, I think that's what happened to me, or that's like it's so important to know. I want to ask my doctor if it happened to me. So um it's just it's important. I don't know how else to explain it, but when we do this, we are collecting basic information about you, and it's really not going to be shared with anybody else except the Aortic Hope administrative members themselves and those individuals who are part of the Survivor Series team. They're strictly used for sharing your story and those purposes. Obviously, there's no monetary payment that's going to be made, but the goal is that you can share your story in a way that it helps others find their voice in asking questions with their own physicians, or feeling validated that somebody else has just described what they've been feeling. And it is a light bulb moment, I promise you. So we would love for you to be part of the Survivor Series. If you're interested, there is a link below on here, bump to the form. It's also under our program section. And then in doubt, always email info@aorticope.org and we will get you in touch with Molly or Joshua. That's that. Felt like Jeannie. All right, let's talk about our collaboration with Lawrence Hope. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's another line out of Annie. I am wearing mine today, you guys. This is my silver. ID. And I don't know, you might be able to see, look how easy it is to even notice that there's words on there, right? This is a double ringed tag, which allows me to take on and easily take off any bracelet I want. I have 3 different bracelets that I can put on here at one time. One of them looks like it has lots of diamonds around it. Actually has a tag on it that's clipped on that says hope, and then it has a paw print with little diamonds looking things around it. But this band is has a little bit of 12 karat gold links in between the silver yellow, so I can wear it with a yellow gold tag, and I have. So I intermix depending on what I'm wearing. I can't even begin to tell you how many people make comments about this, and then they see it is a medical ID bracelet. So the good news is oh gosh, I don't have my keychain. I also have a dog tag in purple. It's beautiful on my keychain. In the event I don't wear the bracelet, I feel just as protected in case there was a problem. Someone might find my keys, and there it is. I can hang it from my rear view mirror if I want, hang it from my purse. There's options, backpack if I'm going to go bike riding. So, Lawrence Hope, they're so well versed in working with the first responders on utilizing medically acceptable acronyms on the back of these, on the back of your tag. So in case you were in any kind of emergency, the physician or the first responder would know my tag, because no shame in my game, says my full name, Karen Anderson. Underneath of it says, it literally reads aortic dissect / aneurysm, because I've had both. Underneath it says colostomy. Underneath that it says ALGY IV contrast, because I have an allergy to IV contrast plus latex. Those are the 2 big ones that will cause anaphylactic issues. And then it says RX Eliquis and clonidine patch. So the reason that I didn't mention any blood pressure meds is because that's of zero consequence. It's not really going to interact with anything. But the Eliquis is important because it's a blood thinner, and and I was on Plavix. That's what my old tag said. Plavix and Eliquis, very different. So on Eliquis, I would need to be off of that for a shorter period of time, actually, than Plavix if I needed to have surgery. Plavix, it's 5-day. Eliquis, short period of time. You might need some clotting medication if you had to have emergency surgery. So they need to know about that. And the clonidine patch is important in case they don't notice it on my skin. It's got a little bit of a metallic backing on it. That gives me blood pressure medication, and that will not do well in an MRI machine. That will probably burn me. So I needed people to know about that. I also have ICE, my husband's name and number. ICE stands for in case of emergency. And all of that, all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, no, wait a minute, 6 lines fit on the back of that tag. And that's the way it works with the majority of their tags. But they've got bracelets with rubber straps to look like, these smartwatches and stuff like that. They've got them to look like here, it would match the smartwatch. They have them to look like really high end, like Skagen watch bands, if you know what that is. They have them where they magnetize to close. You don't even have to worry about a clasp in case you're having issues with dexterity issues. You just slap it together and it sticks by magnets. Again, I mentioned the dog tags, I mentioned the keychains. So there's so many options. Um, Not everything has to be foo-foo and frilly. So you should really take a look at that. And when you use the link that's in here, or it's listed underneath of Hope Shops, if you scroll down, you'll see this same ad. By using that link in all transparency, Aortic Hope receives a very small percentage off of your sale. So it's another way that you, in a sense, can give back to Aortic Hope too. And there's always tons of coupons and discounts that they have. And at any time, if you have a question, you want to know, is this hypoallergenic, etc., you can always call their customer service. What's interesting about Lawrence Hope is they are here in the States. They make this stuff here in the States. I mean, hand make it, solder, load up the beads. It is not shipped out anywhere else. It's manufactured here. When you call customer service, you're probably going to get, it's either Matt or Mike. They've only got like 2 dedicated customer service reps that always answer the call. So they're going to look up your account. If you can't remember what size your wrist is and you've bought from them before, they'll see it. If you order something and it's off, they might call you and say, hey, last time you ordered a bracelet to fit a 7-inch wrist. This time you're doing 6.5. Is this for you? We might want to change that. That's how good they are. They've got great customer service. And then if you're concerned at all about the acronyms, definitely give them a call and they'll help you walk through what you're looking to put on the back of your bracelet. So I love their product and I hope you do too. I hope you decide if you're going to get one of these that you choose it through Lawrence. So, okay,
Hold on.
moving on.
And also,
Yes,
one of my favorite things that she ever said was, when do you bring up getting a medical ID bracelet? Because it's not during an emergency surgery. It's
true.
not in the beginning of those follow up stages when you're in that
Yeah.
fog. And so it becomes tricky when to bring this up and get that peace of mind. She pitched it so well.
Right, and it's like on the list of things that it takes a minute to accept that you probably should have it, but it just makes sense, you know. And if you're not going to have this, I'm going to show you another product you could have, but it's kind of like when you want to tap into Social Security. A lot of people think of it as a stigma. But Social Security is something you've been paying into. It is your insurance policy. And if you are in a position where you cannot work long term, you tap into it, right? It's not embarrassing. It's not humiliating. You've been paying into it out of your paychecks. Knock on the door and be like, hey, I need a little support back. This is kind of like that, except it's a little bit more critical. This really will do the talking for you if you're with somebody that doesn't really know the intricacies of your medical situation and you're unable to communicate something. This is going to do it for you. That they know to look. They know to look. But also, in addition, because you just made me think about it, we just talked about the belt covers. These are cotton. They are Velcro. They open up. You know what you can do with these? You can wrap them around your seatbelt. They have a place inside where there's a medical card that you can fill out that also allows you to put your allergies, your medications, your emergency information, and you wrap this around your seatbelt. It sits like this. It doesn't really move. It's comfortable. You don't even notice it. You don't feel it. You can put it on the spoke of a bike, right? In your bicycle, backpack, dog leash. There's so many different things you can do with it. We have two sayings: aortic disease or medic alert. And we offer these in black and in red. Okay. We used to have a billion different sayings and lots of colors. And we realized that whether you have had an aortic dissection or you have a thoracic aneurysm or an abdominal aneurysm, every one of those situations, all it's considered aortic disease. It's under the same umbrella. So we just made it easier and just did it under aortic disease or medic alert. So if you know somebody with diabetes and maybe they have lows or they have highs or whatever the case is, medic alert would work for them. Somebody who has, I don't know, I can't think right now, other medical conditions. We can just, you can get it as a gift if you want, and it can say medical alert. So there's options. That's another one, but I kind of like having both. I like it when I'm in the car or if I'm the passenger in a car, and I like definitely having something on me at all times, which is my bracelet. So, all right, upcoming events, everybody. We have Ask a Doctor tomorrow night.
Oh, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little bit more there.
Otherwise, what's more?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So after you were sharing about the Survivor series,
Yeah.
um, Ken says, my video live with Joshua was the best experience for me, cathartic and relieving, like holding my
Thank
breath
you.
for a year and letting it out. And I said, you did great, Ken.
You should put that in writing and send it to me. I would use that quote in our next book.
It's in writing
That
right
was
there.
awesome.
And
Thank you. That
Molly
makes me feel
says,
good.
I really enjoyed your story, Ken. And Ken said, all heart, Molly. And Velda says, I felt the same way, Ken, when I told my story. You did a great job. And Ken
Oh,
says, Velda, thank you.
aw. It's like a little love fest going in the chat room that I
Uh
can't
huh. Uh
see.
huh.
All right, let's talk about events. Ask a Doctor. So it's the first one of the year. And for those of you that don't know what that is, we have Dr. Siddharth Prakash. He is out of the UT, University of Texas in Houston. Um, and he is going to talk all about aortic disease. So he's not actually talking. You can ask him questions. You will see a picture of his face, Dr. Prakash, right on our page, pinned to the top at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on tomorrow evening, actually. And when that goes live, you are able to start putting your questions in. There'll be a lot of questions coming from Aortic Hope because these are questions that have been submitted to us. But you can type your questions there. Follow how this works, simulcasting. At 6:30, he's going to start answering those questions. Now, first things first, our Facebook page is a public Facebook page. Whatever you ask there, it's going to be seen by anybody with your name next to it. If you want to remain anonymous, there will be a link on that page where you can click and type it into a form. And we will be getting these forms over the 2 hours that he is doing this. And we will type your question in for you. So it will come as if it's from us. Okay. While that's happening, I will be live with Terry Cook, another one of our board members, and we will be reading those questions, not with the names. Okay, so pretty much anonymous from that point of view. We will be reading the questions live on YouTube and sharing the answers with all of you here. In addition, if you want to chat some questions, you can do so. Like you're doing right now. You guys are chatting up a storm. You can chat your question. It is public. It will remain on here forever. So if you want to ask an anonymous question again, what do? We fill out the form, and I again will then type whatever goes on here. I'll be typing on Facebook. So it's happening in both areas, double time, which is kind of fun. It's kind of fun. Terry and I will only be doing it for the first hour, but he does it for 2 hours. So he keeps going and going and going. The key with Ask a Doctor is, can't really give you specific detailed answers to your personal situation because A, you're not his patient. B, he doesn't have your scans or your history. So he can only really answer questions in generalities and just hope that you utilize that and find your voice to have that conversation with your physician. This is all just informative stuff. It's just the opinion of one physician. And again, it's to be used for you to just maybe become enlightened and educated about something to then discuss and see if you're going to put it into action for your own personal plan. Okay. Um, so I've learned a lot from those. I've learned whether people can ski or they shouldn't ski. Again, it's a case by case basis, but generally speaking, here's the answer. What do antihistamines do to us in the spring? What do cold medicines do to us? And why do they say we shouldn't take them in the winter? Case by case basis, because sometimes physicians will say, take it. It's a cost benefit. But generally speaking, the generally speaking answers are really what you're looking for. So this has been, gosh, I think we've been doing this now. We're probably in our 7th or 8th year. It's very successful. He joins us every other month. We're so appreciative of his time that he takes out with us. So we'd love to see you a part of that. So you've got two different options how to join. And then we have our 10 p.m. Eastern support group meeting. Um, the gentleman that is leading that is right there in the California area. So if anything changes and he's not in a position to be able to moderate, we will have a different moderator, but it will still happen. Sign up once for the support group meeting. You will receive a link via email with the link of how to join via Microsoft Teams. That will come into you shortly before the meeting begins. And then we have the Aortic Hope live aortic artist on Wednesday. And Diane Bishop from Aortic Health Unlimited is going to be teaching us a great way to start off the year on the differences between different types of acrylic paint. Because I didn't know there was heavy, there's medium, there's light, and a couple of the main brushes that she might use throughout the year when we do arts and crafts. And what do these brush strokes create? So it's kind of taking you to a basic. So you should probably have these brushes. If not, you can go to Five Below or Michael's and get a set of brushes. And you can just use one type of paint if that's what you have, but you'll learn how to do some of these brush strokes with the paint that you have. So it might help you in the future, which will be kind of fun. And then we have the aortic kitchen. I forgot, what do they do this week? Is this week Mexican, Spanish? I don't remember.
I still am thinking about the spaghetti situation with the shrimp from last time. I don't
Okay.
remember.
So then I'm thinking if that one was pasta, this might be Mexican. I don't know. We'll have to look and see. My guess is as good as your guess, but that's always a good time. And so basically, it's all of the things that we typically have from now through the end of the month. Although no, that's February. So we've got our weekend reviews. Hey, we got Molly coming up with you on the weekend review on Monday the 20th. So she's going to be your hostess with the mostest. And then on the 27th, the last one of the month, you'll have Tammy. Our Tam Tam will be in to do your weekend review. And then we've got another caregiver support group meeting, end of the year, end of the month support group meeting that happens. So check out all the details here, and all the information on how to join is listed in that.
Velda says oatmeal
Oatmeal. We have oatmeal.
for the kitchen.
Oh, this is oatmeal. I was so off. Well, I definitely want to see all the different things you can do with oatmeal, because I am a Quaker oatmeal instant packet. Give me that freeze dried banana and strawberry. So I'm just sharing way too much on how I don't really eat well. But every now and then I do like when somebody cooks me like overnight oats. I don't know what that's called, whatever, but the really good lumpy, throw in some granola, throw in some apples, or yeah, I do like that. It's very filling, very filling. All right, but one of the things I must tell you is that this week in review was sponsored by Rock from the Heart. And it's so, oh my God, they're getting ready. And I'm looking at the weather report, and I'm like, I'm already cold, and I'm in the warmest week we're having right now here in Maryland. Just thinking about, what am I doing? Going to St. Paul, Minnesota, the third week of February. And I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the Rock from the Heart Aortic Ed Sessions, which is their symposium, as well as a rock concert. So here's the deal. They have on the 21st of February from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., they have a symposium. You're going to have a variety of speakers, including myself and physicians, talking to you, gosh, about so many different topics. The lineup is amazing. She's also got special guests like Miss Minnesota coming to speak to everybody. Couple survivors that are talking. There's some great guest speakers and great clinicians. We're not solely focused on aneurysms or valves, but we're also including dissection. So it's a wide variety of aortic disease information that's going to be shared. And then on Saturday, if you should stay, you have an opportunity to surround yourself in a VIP party and or a concert with other community members. And this year's concert is headlined by the Spin Doctors. Little Miss, can't be wrong. I think can't go wrong. Can't something wrong. This is, yeah, I'm getting old. I can't remember the lyrics, but that's going to be in your head for a while too. Um, the Prince's song. Dun, dun, I can't remember how that goes right now. I'm so bad. But I'm excited because I will know these songs. I won't know, I'll make up my own lyrics, but it's going to be fun to be with everybody and have a great time and kind of let your hair down and just rock out with Rock from the Heart. So there's options, symposium and or symposium rock concert. And if you can't go at all, you got the virtual option too, which is great. But please register. This way she has count on who's coming. But register soon. There's information here on their website. This is on rockfromtheheart.org/events dash details. Information on what you can do in the city. Not important to me because I'm going to Paisley Park. I already know what I'm doing in the city. You got me close enough to Minneapolis. This chick's going to visit where Prince lived, 100%. What's so exciting about this is they are doing a community heart screening. This is the first time they've ever done this. So if you want some details about that, there's a link here. Lots of information, discounted rate on hotel. At the hotel is where the event takes place. Yeah, she's going to start really vamping up. We're going to start seeing a little bit more of Amy and Pete Johnson on TV in Minneapolis, getting ready to share all this information, radio spots. She's getting ready to really hit crunch time. And then what's exciting is going to be another one in May in North Dakota, and you'll have to wait to hear information about that soon. So thank you, Rock from the Heart, for sponsoring this week's Week in Review. And we're super excited to share with everybody what you have going on. So go check that out when you have a moment. Mm-hmm. That's all I
Excellent.
got. That's all I got. And
Molly
it is warm.
says,
Yeah.
I plan to go to St. Paul too.
How exciting.
I know,
I'm
right?
so excited. Yeah.
And
Yes.
Marty says, I have attended the Rock from the Heart event previously. Great
Oh.
information and speakers.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
That
How
is,
great to
that's very
know.
great.
That's so cool. Yeah, I'm speaking this time. I have to speak for Ben and I. So Dr. Ben Udelman is going to have to rewrite his presentation so I understand the statistics that I would have to present, because I didn't do them. I didn't do the research. So he needs to change his portion of the presentation that we gave in Scotland around a little bit. But yeah, I'm so excited about every portion of this. You have no, I haven't been in 2 years. So to talk about the Ace Your Healthcare Journey initiative, or, how to do that by advocating, communicating, and educating is just so important. It's such a big initiative for us for this year. And to have a chance to listen and learn and be a follower, because I am a patient, excites me. And just get a chance to see people in person and hug people and say hi and have a great dinner with everybody. And then, of course, go to Paisley Park and just, oh, I love experience that. Like, so amazing. And then go to the concerts. Be so fun. What's not fun is when I have to be at the airport at 4:30 in the morning on Sunday. So yeah, that's what I have. That's that's another story. But excited. Yeah. So before we go, before I give you my ending spiel, I do want to say that everyone here at Aortic Hope, our hearts, our thoughts, our prayers, our everything is out to everyone in California, everyone that's being impacted by this unbelievably devastating group of fires. And obviously, there's no amount of thanks enough to the first responders and the fire department and all of them that are coming in from other areas that are helping. We hope they stay safe as well. We know that the fumes that people are breathing in are not going to be good for you. And we want all of our community members to please keep checking in like you have been, because it's so nerve-wracking when you hear things about winds starting to kick up. And we're all on edge here too, and we're all thinking about you. And if there's stuff you need, please let us know. But our thoughts do go out to all of you. And before I go, please do me a favor. Please click like. Click that subscribe and hit that bell so you don't have to try to remember when we go live again this week, right? And click share. And the important part of sharing this on your social media is because I know somebody else is going to find this stuff interesting. I mean, come on, how entertaining am I? So entertaining. It's not annoying at all. I'm totally entertaining. Wait till next week when you hear some of the words I have to pronounce. Or maybe that's Molly's week. Good luck to you. Okay. I know it's in the posts. That'll be fun. All right, everybody, do what I just asked. Thank you so much. Appreciate your support, and we will see you next week. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.